everyone, Rich Sassman here with Century 21 Affiliated. Scott Swinford here with Hancock Mortgage.
That's me. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, I know how part of your weekend was because you were at my open house doing pre-approvals on site and whatnot. So, but how was the rest of your weekend?
Oh, it's been a crazy weekend. I spent a whole bunch of time working on files, getting some refis through, getting a couple
crazy amount of refis.
Purchases. It's been
crazy.
It has been pretty nuts. It has been pretty nuts.
If you look at this board on the side of the wall of all of his current clients right now, things are going crazy because interest rates are that good.
Yeah, rates are really good. Rates are very, very good right now. And that's kind of one of the things that we're looking at. That's what's causing it, is people are hearing things. But they heard that the Fed cut the overnight rate by 0.5%. So they said, oh, did our interest rates down 0.5%?
We wish.
And that's not necessarily true. Yeah, that's not how it works. The Fed is cutting the overnight rate. Essentially what that means is an overnight rate is good for a day, the interest rate for a day. Yep. Most of you are not taking out a mortgage for a day. You're taking it out for 20 years or 30 years or 15 years or what have you. So the Fed's overnight rate doesn't really have much to do with that. What it does do is it shows that the Fed is trying to keep inflation in there and is trying to stimulate the economy, which then can help mortgage rates. But again, the two are not directly tied together.
Yep. Well, let's tie that to the economy right now. Stock market right now, last time I looked, was down around 2,100 points. So there's a lot of people being scared right now with this coronavirus and what it's doing to everything. I mean, there's no toilet paper or soap or anything at Costco right now. Like, it's insane. But we basically wanted to come in here today and talk about the effect that it's having on the housing market right now. And first I'm going to talk on my end, then you're going to talk on your end. So on my end, still a huge demand for our homes. Still homes being sold in one day. I know that because I sent a house out to somebody and it was sold by the time they got it. So homes are being sold really fast right now. And home prices are continuing to increase at a rapid rate. Not too rapid, but it's just there's a lot more demand than there is supply right now. So basically, if you want to sell your house, you're going to get top dollar for it, even if it's not in top dollar shape. And that's even with all the news that you see on TV about this coronavirus shutting down schools, all that fun stuff. But it hasn't hit Northwest Indiana yet. Everybody's staying positive. I keep having buyers contact me daily. I'm getting new buyers on a daily basis right now, and it's a great situation. Scott, has there been any scaring trends or anything on your side in the mortgage world?
Well, yes and no, actually. So locally, it's not a big deal. We're not seeing a lot of effects. What it is, though, is because of what the stock market's doing, people are starting to feel scared. They've lost a lot of money. I was reading an article this morning about another loan officer who said that one of his clients had an elderly lady, I believe, had turned over all of her money to her financial advisor, who had her completely all in the market. She lost 35% over the last 2 weeks. So that's scaring folks.
Yeah.
You don't see that in the housing market. You're not going to lose 35% of your equity or 35% of the cost in 2 weeks. That just doesn't happen.
No.
But what's happening is, on really kind of a global scale, is people are scared. When you mention coronavirus, there are some people that are just shuddering. And even here in the United States, there's in Seattle where they had 8 deaths from that. And it sounds bad. It's still not in any comparison to what we see every year from the common flu. And these were folks who were sick. They were elderly people that were in a nursing home that passed away. But we're seeing a lot of folks who are just scared, and maybe not necessarily rightfully so, at least at this point.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to see anything real major happen, because I think we're on top of this. I think that the folks who are self-quarantining are being smart. It's just like everything else, Rich, and we tend to forget it. But
if you feel sick, you stay home, whether it's a flu, coronavirus, whatever. If it has the possibility of being contagious, no matter what it is, just use common sense. Stay home and treat yourself. Sick days, you get them at work. If you don't use them, you lose them. So you might as well use them.
How many sick days do you get?
I get as many as I want.
That's me too. I work from home if I need to.
Yeah.
But if you'll notice, just like I just kind of coughed a little bit because my throat's dry, but I didn't cough at Rich. I didn't cough in my hand and then touch Rich. I didn't do anything. Yeah, thanks. So it's the precautions out there. If you're going to use the restroom, remember to use warm water, use soap, and use the paper towel when you open the door, things like that, and shut off the lights. And these are things that we should do all the time. Yeah. So now if you're worried about the coronavirus, and again, I don't work for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention or anything like that, but I am sort of familiar with body hazards and body substance hazards from the 19 years I spent in emergency medical services. So just take those precautions. If you're worried about shaking somebody's hand, don't shake their hand. Do the elbow bump like they're showing now.
Or tapping feet now. I saw.
Well, that would, yeah. See, your shoes probably don't.
I may trip a little bit trying to do that the first time, but
and make sure they know that you're going to do that before you.
Why didn't you just kick me?
But a lot of this is it's common sense. So I don't want you to be scared. I don't want you to, and again, I'm not telling you how to conduct your lives. What my point is, though, is that throughout this, we are seeing it in the stock market. We are seeing people are afraid. There's some other things going on too. If you notice, the price of petroleum, of oil, has gone down. It lost from the this morning. It opened up. It was down about 23%, which is going to be huge. And a lot of that has to do with Russia and OPEC because they're fighting over whether they should reduce the amounts that they're doing to keep the prices up. And so we're seeing this big drop there. So now the market has gone crazy. Some people are losing their minds, and I don't see that there's a good basis for this. But here's what's happening. So we are seeing a decrease in interest rates because normally what happens is when the stock market is doing really well, stock market's going up, it's risky, but you can get larger rewards. So people invest their money into the stock market.
So
and the bond funds have to, which are secure, and generally if they're government backed, they have to pay a higher interest rate to get people to move their money to the bond funds. So now with the stock market going all crazy, people are pulling their money out of the market, and they're putting them back into the bond funds, which are going to essentially lower the amount of interest that they have to pay. So we're going to see rates go down in general, and that's normally how it works. But there are some factors at play right now that may not be the case. So what I want to tell you, and again, why we're doing the mortgage tips, is I want to be realistic, and Rich and I want to be completely upfront and honest with you. Okay, this is not like something that we've seen lately. It's still really good in our area, still very good in Northwest Indiana, but we want you to understand that with all these folks that are refinancing out there right now, and if you haven't looked into it, you probably should. Just feel free to give me a call. But that's
a little plug.
Well, a little shameless plug. But realistically, we're doing it for you. I've got one client we talked with the other day that we're going to save him about $115 a month off of a house he bought last year.
So what can you do with an extra $1,300 a year?
Exactly. And he's one of those folks who wants to pay off his house early. So you know what? Keep making the same payments. And essentially it comes out to a little more than one extra payment a year, which should drop several years off the life of the loan. And he's not going to do anything. He doesn't have to change his payments. We're just going to get him a better interest rate, and it'll all be good.
Exactly.
There are folks out there in a position maybe to take some money out to pay off higher interest rate credit cards or things like that. But this is what's happening because so many people are getting this idea right now, and we are submitting so many loans. We might see appraisal times go up. We might see turn times for loans go up. So just expect that. If Rich likes to say, hey, Scott can, he can close in 21 days. We can as of today, but we don't know how long that's going to happen. If it takes 21 days to get an appraisal back, now that doesn't happen. It's not going to happen, and it can't. So,
but right now, everything is still cooking full force, and we're still turning things in a record amount of times. And we're going to keep saying that until we know we can, and then we'll be honest with you at that point. But as of right now, Scott, you're still giving out pre-approvals, right?
Absolutely.
You're
More than ever.
You're still giving out applications after an offer has been accepted, right?
Of course.
And we're still closing on loans and refinances, right?
We're still closing. Absolutely.
And things are still going hotter than ever, correct?
Things are hot.
So in short, nothing's having an effect on the real estate market in Northwest Indiana as of now. If that ever changes, we'll be one of the first people to tell you we'll do a Mortgage Tip Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever we have to do to say, hey, we're starting to notice stuff. But as of right now, everything is still a go. Property values are starting to increase. So if you are worried about your property value decreasing or whatever in the future because of what may be going on in the world, well, you know, then you should probably get the most out of your house and get it on the market this spring. So
yeah, and that's kind of our aim is we want to be your trusted advisors.
Yep.
That's why we get together in the office every week
Yep.
and do our Mortgage Tip Monday, is so that we can stay in front of you and you can understand what's going on within the industry and how it might affect you. Again, things are still smoking hot in our area.
Yes.
And I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. But I also want you, we want to be realistic with you. And if something does change, we're going to come out to you. We're going to let you know.
Yep.
So continue to watch this.
Communication and education are two big things. So we want to make sure we always have that for you.
And as of now, here's one thing that I heard earlier. Is a lot of people know what their payment is. They can say, well, my payment is X dollars a month, but I'm not really sure what my rate is. So let's talk about that. If you have purchased a home anytime within, rates are extremely low. But if you think you're in a position to save some money, especially if you've got rates right now that are in the 4s or above, let's talk. Let's see what we can do for you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go through with a refinance if it doesn't make sense for you. Because if it doesn't make sense, I'll tell you. Now is not the time to do it. And there are some times where even if you get the same interest rate that you had before, but you could drop off your mortgage insurance or change from FHA to conventional, which might have a lower mortgage insurance premium and save you some money, or pull a little bit of cash out, pay off some, 22, 25, 30% interest rate credit cards, and then consolidate that down. And instead of paying $200 on a Visa or whatever it happens to be, then once you've got that paid off, take that $200 or even $100 of that $200 and put it back into your mortgage payment, and you'll find that you're paying all of your bills off much sooner.
Exactly. And one thing that a lot of people have credit cards in the 20% area, and could you imagine paying off that credit card by refinancing and paying an interest rate that's around 80% less than what you're paying now?
Right.
That sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Right.
And that's why you're getting pretty busy with that stuff.
Exactly.
People understand the math.
And rates are great. Now, I'm not going to tell you what rate you would get or anything like that, because it all depends upon loan to value, your credit scores, all sorts of things out there.
Look back at the previous Mortgage Tip Monday, so learn about that.
Exactly. But it might be worth looking into to see if that's something that would benefit you. And again, if it doesn't benefit you, we don't want to do it. That's the whole idea, is we're here to help you.
Yeah, and another thing, if you're watching live, let me know where you guys are watching from. I'm curious to see where at what towns and cities you guys are from. Other than that, the spring market is hotter than it was last year. Just as an example, for those of you who saw my other video that I did last week, Highland is up 26% of sold listings year to date from this year from last year, up 26%, and they were up 20-something% last year. So that just tells you how many homes are moving and how fast they're moving, and it's a great thing to see all these people who bought their houses and have done great work to them, or have paid their mortgage for the past 5-10 years, and they're seeing a lot of equity now, and they're able to move their family into a bigger house. They're able to do things that they didn't think was possible. And I'm getting those calls on a weekly basis saying, I never thought we'd be able to move into a bigger house, but here's all the what we're getting. That combined with the historically low interest rates that we have going on, it's a win-win situation right now for people.
It is. You know, Rich, if you look at it though, some of these folks who've had their houses for a few years, what are seeing the buildup in equity there, and especially if they purchased the houses at 5 or 6% interest, which wasn't real long ago. It hasn't been very recent, but not real long ago. It's entirely possible that you could upsize your home to get a larger home for a lower monthly payment than what you're paying now.
Yep. And we're finding that out quite frequently right now.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah. Got a little dry mouth going on, but other than that, if you guys have any questions whatsoever about refinancing, buying a house, getting pre-approval, what does it take to even get pre-approved, all that, feel free to message us. We want to talk to you. We want to help you guys out. We want to help your friends and family. So if you have brothers, sisters, or whatever that are looking to buy or sell a home, tag them in this and let us help them, and it would be huge for them.
Yep. And most importantly, let us end with this: don't freak out.
No, nothing bad's happening in our market.
Right, exactly. Our market is still good. There's a lot of things going on nationally and internationally, but you know what? We're going to get a handle on it. Exactly. So continue to take the precautions you have, just like we should be all the time anyway, if we're worried about the flu, things like that. And then the stock market will correct. It will absolutely come back. Things will be good. But again, don't freak out and start, this isn't the time to be Chicken Little. Okay? Nope. We're doing well. If things change, we'll let you know. I promise.
I tell you, it's not too often that you can pull your old career out of Mortgage Ship Monday as a medical professional, huh? Sometimes. I think this is the first time on Mortgage Ship Monday you could you actually got to use that stuff.
Exactly.
So
about the whole body substance isolation thing.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. Yeah.
I don't really get to say that much anymore.
No.
But again, like I said, just take the normal precautions that we would. Don't freak out. What's going on is it's temporary. It's all going to come back. It's all going to be good. We're going to be fine. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Rich and I.
Yep.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Once again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please give this a like or a share. Share with people that can use this information. Other than that, that's Scott Swinford with Hancock Mortgage. I'm Rich Sassman with Century 21, and we'll see you next Monday. All right. Have a great day.
Bye, all.
I was about to say.